Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome. My name is Esme Gregg. I am your host. This is episode 13 of Soul Talks with Esme. Thank you for being here live. I am an intuitive spiritual coach, a certified Reiki master, and a best-selling author for anybody that is new to me. I appreciate you being here live. Let me tell you a little bit about this show. Soul Talks with Esme is a live video podcast where high conscious topics are discussed with the intention to share uplifting stories and helpful personal growth tools. Connection at a soul level so we can all learn together and consciously to move forward in our journeys to a happy soul evolution. That is why we're here. That's why I love doing the show, to connect with you guys and to just share awesome stories with my beautiful guests. And I'm about to tell you all about my awesome guests. Let me see. First, let me say that so we are live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Happy Soul Evolution. Thank you for being here. Also on my Facebook page, Esme Gregg, and on my Facebook business page, Esme Gregg Coach. I just renamed that to make it a little easier. And so it would be awesome if you follow me on Facebook, on those two Facebook pages, and also on Instagram at Esme Gregg, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Happy Soul Evolution, and it's the home of Soul Talks with Esme, of this show. That's where you can find all the episodes. And so when you do watch, please do like and comment those videos. That lets the YouTube algorithm to see that you do find value in this content and in my channel, which will allow these videos to pop up in other results. So thank you. If you're watching in the replay, I don't want to forget you guys, so I appreciate you. And let me see. So today our topic is, you guys are, I'm sure you're excited because I am. And our topic is how to set healthy boundaries, and with an EFT tapping expert. And so we're also going to do a safe demo for EFT. And this is episode 13. I can't believe we're in episode 13. So my special guest is the one and only Anita Kaiser. Let me tell you her bio, and I know she's excited to come on the show. So let me see. Okay, so Anita Kaiser offers coaching with EFT tapping, energetic healing, and spiritual guidance for women who identify as empath entrepreneurs. My accent comes out at the wrong time. Entrepreneurs. She dreams of a world where we are all deeply connected to our emotions and no longer trying to be fine all the time. Oh, I love that. And her commitment to helping women move forward past their painful history, discover joy, find their inner fire, was forged in previous work as a yoga and mindfulness instructor. Anita uses her clairsentience and claircognizance to create a safe space for growth. And professionally, she is trained in Reiki, EFT tapping, yoga, as well as being a priestess. She is also a recovering perfectionist and a lifelong learner. Anita is a free spirit who has recently completed a year-long journey with her family across Canada and the United States. Yes, that is amazing. That was my dream, and I'm just so excited that Anita's here. Let me bring her on. Where are you? There you are. Hi, Anita. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Esme.
I'm just so excited. I think I'm blushing. I'm so excited. Anita, so I haven't looked at the comments. So do tell us where you're at right now while I'm looking at the comments.
So I'm located in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And this is where I've lived for outside of the time that we were traveling for maybe 8 years now. So I'm excited to be here and to share with your people a bit about boundaries and empathy and tapping.
I'm so excited that you're here. So we met through a mutual friend, Lisa Farrington. She was on the show. She's our Pinterest coach, and we took the program with her together. And that's how we met. So we're both learning Pinterest from Lisa Farrington. We did did an episode with her. I can't remember what number it was, but it was a few weeks ago. So yeah, let me see the comments, and let's say hi, Sion, and Nana. Nana is in Greece. So thank you, everybody that's watching. It's so late over there. Thank you for being here. Anna, thank you also watching from Greece. I appreciate you. Let's see, we have Shubra Roy here. Thank you, thank you. Elizabeth, Martha, thank you guys. I appreciate you and everybody that's watching and not commenting. It's okay. We appreciate you watching. And so Canada, eh?
That's right. And mostly you won't hear me say I don't think, but you'll hear me say right a lot. And apparently that's quite Canadian too. So
I love it. I love it. Yes. And so you say so winter hasn't started yet. It should start soon.
Yeah, it's coming. We've been quite lucky, but I can really feel that, fall to winter is right on the cusp now.
Wow. Yeah, it's warm. I'm in Texas, so we really don't have a winter. We have a fall. We have a mild summer in the winter. And so I'm just so excited to hear more about your story. So do tell us your journey, what got you into all the healing modalities, into yoga. What was going on in your life before that?
So, I was thinking about this and thinking, geez, I don't even know where to start. There's so many different threads, right? And, I've been around a few rounds around the moon and sun. So there's lots of different places. But I think one of the things I wanted to share is just, my entrepreneurial journey. I've been quite a serial entrepreneurist. And, when I was young, like maybe in between 10 and like 12 or 13, I would go to the golf course beside our house, and there was a creek there, and I would find all the golf balls that had been, shot into the creek, and I would resell them to the golfers.
Very good.
And so I was thinking about that, and just how, like, already then I had that desire to connect in a different way, right? And there's no one in my family who is an entrepreneur, and quite frankly, they all thought I was a little crazy when I decided to take this journey. And so from there, in terms of spirituality, that big pull, I was taking books out of the library when I was young, books on yoga. And so I started to practice yoga. But again, at that time, I didn't really have an understanding for the breath. And so if you've ever practiced yoga, the breath is really important. And so I actually passed out in my living room because I was doing a forward fold and not breathing.
Wow.
And, so that was part of my yoga journey. And now I do a lot more breathing.
Yes, imagine that. It's funny because talking about breathing, something that my coach Jay Shetty said, that when he joined to be a monk, the first lesson that he received was on how to breathe. And it's amazing because we're not taught how to breathe just in general, right? And so imagine somebody that starts doing yoga with good intentions, and maybe the book didn't say or emphasize, the importance of breathing. So yeah.
Well, and I think part of it too is just that, when you're young, you just have no awareness for that, right? It's that, and especially in those like preteen to teen years, all the changes your body is going through. And for me, I came from a place of trauma, and really, like, I wanted out of there. I didn't want to be so much in my body. And so, but over the longer term, yoga actually really helped me come into my body.
Beautiful.
It was a really quite a lovely experience.
And so you ended up becoming certified in yoga, or?
Yeah, I when I got pregnant with my one and only child, I knew I was looking for a change. I didn't want to go back to that corporate job. And at that time I was looking for, what can I do? And I found this baby yoga course. So teaching moms baby yoga to help them connect with their children and to help the babies sleep better and digest better. And so that was where I started. And most people, start with adult yoga when they go to, to teach. But I started with the baby yoga, and then I went to kids, and then I went to teaching adults and completing that training. So yeah, that was quite an experience. And these days I'm not teaching at the studio anymore, just sometimes in my own, like with my private clients.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, but that was the way that, the universe brought you into that, into the yoga world. We all have different ways that we get introduced. So yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your history and your past. And then, so tell us more about boundaries. And then we'll also we're going to do what did we call it? I mean, I just put that's an EFT tapping demo, but you called it a safe.
It's going to be a safe EFT tapping demo, and yeah, it'll be a really powerful example just for those who haven't ever experienced it, to understand the power of it in a very short time, because it is an incredible modality. And I've actually been working with that modality for about 10 years now. The first time I experienced it, I thought, like, there is something really to this. And of course, just as I'm sure you've already shared a bit, energy medicine, EFT is an energy medicine. And over the past 5 or so years, there is so much more research coming out about how important and how important the energy is to our overall health and wellness.
Yes, I love that. And actually, EFT is something I do want to learn. I told you. So just briefly, anybody who wants to learn more about it, how does the process work? Or, how does somebody learn EFT or become, I guess, certified in it?
So there's a lot of different ways to learn the technique, and we'll go through the points in a little bit. The whole idea with emotional freedom technique, EFT tapping, it is a acupressure. We go through acupressure points in the body in a certain order, and either with words or without words. And it helps realign what's going on in your system. So one of the things that I feel is so important and was very emphasized during my training is the whole idea of a safe space, right? Because all of our nervous systems are different, and all of us have experienced different things. And so for me as an empath, this means I'm very highly sensitive, right? And so when you are highly sensitive or empathic to this place, your nervous system is often on high alert and really, needs some time to come to that regulated place. And so sometimes with tapping, although there are no contraindicators, sometimes it does open up the nervous system to release things that maybe we weren't aware of or weren't ready to release or ready to acknowledge. And so sometimes emotions start flowing. And that's something to know. And it's, of course, perfectly, to be expected, especially if something's gone on, like you've had something big happen and you didn't have time or chose not to at that point and kind of pushed everything down, right?
Yes, yes. I think that's really the biggest. Thank you for that walkthrough. That's a beautiful explanation. And yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think that's what we call energy healing modalities, right? That's what we're trying to help our clients, our friends, our families, ourselves. That's how I got into energy healing, and I chose Reiki. It was just to heal myself, to really go deep into those emotions. And so I loved it so much. I thought, I can help others with this, and I'm sure you can connect with that feeling of purpose and finding your niche, as we say, and as entrepreneurs, niche to niche.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what you said actually ties in really powerfully to boundaries, right? We all come to healing work to help. And I know for me, my biggest boundary struggle was to realize not everybody wants my help. And even sometimes those who hire me to help them, they only have so much capacity for healing at this particular time. And my value as a healer is not tied to how fast or how well they choose to heal, right? That's my boundary. I'm me doing the work I need to do regardless. And the people I'm working with, they get to choose how all in or, where they want to be on that spectrum.
That is so great. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think also when we have clients, it's great to set those expectations, right? Like even if it's like 2 month coaching or however long a program, or even if it's just one session, it's like, what do you want to get out of this session, right? So it's like, what are your expectations, so that we're both in agreement with that. And so, yeah, let's talk about boundaries, because I didn't know about boundaries until probably my mid-30s, if that. And definitely I was an empath, or am an empath. And I think a lot of people are, whether they know it or not. And so basically it's like my example back then was that I would feel other people's pain, and like cry, right? Like deeply. So I saw that as just being sympathetic or empathizing, right? Which is what empath is. And then I realized that really it was like my energy was a lot stronger, and maybe that I was like absorbing their energy and living their pain. And I think we do this as kids also, right? When we do inner child work, we're going back to heal. That's a whole different topic, which I did an episode on that. But with healing, we go back to inner child, right? Healing those emotions, right? That we absorb, trying to make our parents feel loved and be happy. We thought we were helping them, right? So we're absorbing all of that. So as kids, we don't know how to set boundaries. And here we are. If anybody doesn't know how to set boundaries or what boundaries are, let's give them a little intro of what boundaries are. And then let me just say hi. There's a few more people here in the comments. I don't want to forget. Hi, Anisha. Thank you for always being here. Appreciate you. Hi, Corey. Navnita, thank you. Sion said that's a really great point. My value as a healer does not depend on how fast or slow the client decides to heal. So yes, we connect with that. So let's talk about boundaries, what they are, and it doesn't matter if we didn't set them before. If we don't know how to set boundaries, how can we start, or what are your recommendations?
So there's so many different places to start. And really, with my focus on entrepreneurs, I spend a lot of time really helping entrepreneurs, like empath and highly sensitive entrepreneurs, set boundaries in their business. Because as an empath, as a highly sensitive person, our energies, our capacity to hit overwhelm is so much, like the space between regulated and overwhelm is so much shorter than people who are not highly sensitive or empathic, people who are not tuned to that frequency. And so it's super important, if you get into a healing profession, to create those boundaries. And so in practical terms, it's things like working hours, right? Like you have a start time and an end time. And that means you put your phone away or you close your laptop. You're not taking it to bed with you. You're not checking Facebook one last time. You're not, texting your clients back when they text at like 10 p.m. or, those sorts of things. And as a healer, very often there is immense resistance to even just putting in like start and finish times, right? Well, what if somebody needs me, And
so true.
It's so powerful though. And I think, what we often forget is that when we create that structure and create those boundaries, we are actually saying yes to ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's exactly what I just wrote a post about that. Yeah, when we're saying no to others in a healthy, loving way, it's a way of us saying yes. So it's actually like a form of self-love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So powerful.
And it teaches other people what is acceptable for us, right? And I think, so often as women and as sensitive women, we grow up in households where maybe our mom never said no. Maybe our moms did everything. There was that constant having to please, having to, make sure everybody else was okay. And then as we continue to age, we lose ourselves. And that is not why we came here. That is not at all. We came here to experience joy and delight and,
whoop, whoop.
This high vibration.
Enjoy life. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh, I love this. I love this. But let me see. What do you guys think? Yeah, they're saying that's right. And hi, Nicola. Thank you for being here. And yeah, you guys let us know and start letting us know if you have any questions. So yeah, I love this. And yeah, people are saying that they love this. Okay, great. Because it's so true. And obviously we model the patterns that we watch our parents, our mom and dad, and boundaries, it's like a lot of cultures also have this like sacrifice, like sacrifice. You do this, you sacrifice yourself for the family, you sacrifice, or you kind of become the martyr, right? And so, go ahead.
I just want to say there, when we do that, it creates resentment. And it creates this disconnect from the anger in most cases, right? Because we weren't allowed to experience anger. We weren't allowed to have boundaries. And so this resentment builds. And as you and I both know, and maybe a bunch of our listeners know as well, this then creates disease over the long term. Right? It starts in the energy body and, dribbles down into the physical being.
Yeah, that energy can become dense and basically transmutes. It can transmute But the way I understand it, it's like it can find a weak area in your physical system, right? In your anatomy. So let's say if you have like an ulcer or like stomach issues, so then that energy can start kind of attacking that area because it's weak, and it can become some sort of disease and illness. And yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want to be healthy and energetically alive and free. And so some ways to set boundaries is, like you said, for entrepreneurs, and I think also for a lot of people that are like working from home, right? So now it's like we don't leave work at the office, because now they're working from their living room, or if they have an office at home, it's like they can also start setting boundaries, right?
Yeah. And I think, that's something I like to have, sort of a morning ritual to like start things as part of my boundary, and then an evening ritual to close my day. And for me, on a really good day, it's a yoga class. I go to the basement and do some yoga to just release the day. Sometimes I go for a walk, and it just is like this natural energetic shift from the busyness of the work to something else.
Yes, I love that. The yeah the that helps our body and creates a good habit, right? So especially if we're doing something that is good for our mind, body, or soul, so like exercise or meditation, something at the beginning. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, so as entrepreneurs or self-employed, or even what about with our kids, at home, whether they're grown kids or any family, let's say, our partners, young kids, or even older kids, or maybe even extended family?
I think, family of origin, and then extended family are the in-laws. There are some really challenging dynamics that come up with all of that, right? And so finding your truth is always the starting place, and acknowledging, I don't want to have Sunday dinner every single week with my family. I want to have Sunday dinner once a month with my family, for example, right? And that's okay to have that be what's appropriate for me. I get to then, once I know what's appropriate for me, then I get to sort of roll it out into the world. And maybe, with my partner first, maybe I share it internally in sort of a safer place, and then we roll it out slowly to the other extended people. And I think the biggest thing for setting any kind of boundaries is knowing what your truth is. And, I hear it all the time in session. Well, if I'm being really honest, and
Yes, be honest.
honest. And you want to be really honest with yourself, because that is where the growth happens.
Oh my gosh, I love you. You just said, I mean, this is what I went through. And so I was just talking to a group on Friday, and we were talking about relationships, but energy. And I was asked, how do I know when I'm ready to start dating or to go into a relationship? And there was other kind of questions like that. And that was my exact answer. It was like, well, I think the question was a little bit different, but basically it was that, like, you have to, the way I did it, and I think this is the way it works, is to know yourself and to know your own values, really take time. That's why it's good to take time, being alone or single for a while, especially in between relationships. And I know that's not our topic, but it's a way of setting a boundary even between relationships, right? To really get to know yourself and reset and find out who you are and be really honest, like you said. And then it becomes very easy to say yes or no.
Yeah.
To anything, because you know what you want in different areas of your life. For example, like I have this show. My Sundays are busy. If somebody says, hey, we're doing this party at 1 p.m., very easy. Oh, I would love to go, but I can't because I have commitments, right? This is important for me, right?
Yeah.
I could say, oh, I'm not going to do it this week. But little things like that. So yeah, setting boundaries. Oh, I love that. So yes, guys, that is the best tip. And I love Anita for saying that. Knowing our own values, what we really want, our desires, knowing what we really, our goals, right? Like, what do we want to achieve? So it's either in life and relationships and like career, and then follow those guidelines. And we're not taught that.
Yeah, well, and I think too, as empaths and highly sensitive people, we are so used to responding to other people's needs that until we take the time to be with ourselves, to journal, to tap, to do that inner work, it's very hard. We lose ourselves. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, expectations, you get out of high school, you get married, or you go to university, you get married, you have children, you get a job, you do these things. Right. And very often we're like down the line in the middle of life before we realize, hey, wait, I don't think this is what I want. I don't think this worked out exactly the way I thought it was going to.
Right, because you didn't know where you were going.
Yeah.
And that's the way I kind of explained it. It's like I thought I was kind of doing the right thing. And then here I am, and it's like, what the heck is going on? And some people look out, and some people, that's awesome. But for those of us, and yeah, that was the other question that I got was in that group. The person was saying, I have so much love to give. I have so much love, and I just want to find somebody. And the way it was like, I'm a giver is what I kept hearing. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, will you be willing to give that to yourself? Yeah. Give yourself that love.
Energy, it's a circle, right? In and out. And you can't just be giving. Like, yes. It just doesn't work. You have to be able to receive as well. It has to be this ebb and flow.
And so boundaries really do help us with that. And a boundary for an empath could be like not spending time with people that drain you. So I was thinking of a word. What's your definition, or what would you, how we hear the word like an energy vampire?
And I think there are lots of people out in the world that are not aware of their own energy. And, someone like myself, part of my coping mechanism in life is, I am high energy to begin with, but I tend to have a smile on my face, even when things are not so great. This is just part of who I am. And so there are lots of people in the world that have far less energy, have far less what seems like joy. And so many times I have had this experience where people, they want to be around me because they feel better. And that's okay to a point, right? And it's my job to decide when it's not okay anymore. And it's my job to decide if there's someone who every time I spend time with them, I'm exhausted or feeling cranky or, angry afterwards. I get to decide if I don't want to be around those people anymore.
Yes.
And, I've been, I want to say lucky, but it's not true. When I was younger, there was a long period of my life where I was choosing not the highest vibration people because it's not what I felt. And I made a decision at a point in my life where I was like, okay, this shit stops here. I'm not doing this anymore. And now I don't have any energy vampires in my life because the higher you bring your vibration, then I don't even see those people. They're not in my frequency anymore.
Exactly. And some of those people can be, you know, our parents, our relatives, or even friends, you know, from a long time ago. And it's okay to, you know, you don't have to let the relationship go, but you can just, you know, distance yourself, and when you do and have time with them, you know, make it a time frame that is correct for you. You know, if the most you can do it's like an hour, then spend an hour, not so often, things like that, right? I mean, it's not, we're not saying get rid of those people, push them away, but sometimes it just naturally happens. There's a joke about if you sage your house, and then there's like a meme where it said, you know, like if people stop coming around your house, you know, then the sage is burning sage is working, you know.
Yeah, I think and I think, you know, if there are people in your life that are not serving you, and you know, when you think about cutting them free, you feel that like lightness. It is okay when you decide this is not for me anymore. It is not our job, especially as empaths and highly sensitive people. It is not our job to fix all the energy in the world. Just because we could doesn't mean we have to.
Yes.
Right. And this is, it's a boundary thing too. You know, just knowing, okay, I'm done. It's all good. I'm off.
Yes. And then I just thought of something. And so sadly, we have this attraction, or we attract those narcissists, you know, the people, you know, it's like it's a codependency, I think, you know. And so setting boundaries really works well with narcissists, because if you start saying no or distancing yourself, you know, once you realize that you're in a kind of manipulative relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or whatever, yeah, it can, when we start kind of not giving them everything that they want, right? Give, then they start seeing that, you know, we're empowered, and that we're not going to accept that. And it can be very it can show up in a way that we're not even realizing that that is going to become a pattern. And we have some comments. Let me just read them, and then we can do our EFT tapping demo.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me say hi. If you guys have any questions, let me see. So Sion said that he completely resonates with Anita. LOL, I tend to have a smile when things might not be great. Yes, I know you do, Sion. Hi, Miriam. Thank you for being here. Miriam is saying, hi, Esme and Anita. I spend most of my time devoted to my work, and I don't spend the time I would like to devote to my family, friends, and coaching training. I feel guilty for that.
You know, I just want to say that the guilt, right? The guilt is such a huge part of the control, right? And it's when we can clear that energy of the guilt so that we no longer feel guilt or shame, because they tend to go hand in hand. Once we can release that from our body and just do the things that make us feel good, everything shifts. And I say this because I spent a lot of time in guilt.
Yes, I resonate with guilt and shame, coming from a Catholic background, you know, so that was infused. A lot of religions, you know, we just kind of bring that in, and then just culturally, and
Yeah,
it's just layers.
It's a shame-based society we live in, right? That's how we've been controlled and managed somehow, right?
Exactly. Yes. So So yeah, Miriam, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, there's no need. Give yourself the permission to enjoy and just focus on what you do enjoy. And it's okay. You know, my son, he's 16 and he cooks his own food and he really likes to make ramen. And some days that's all he eats. He'll have like 2 or 3 cups of ramen. And the way I see it, it's like, well, you know, I didn't cook for him, so like I would feel shame, right? Like, oh, I'm not being a good mom. And I talked to him, and he's like, "But mom, I love ramen," you know. And
Yeah.
then I'm allowing him the right, trusting that he is independent and he is fully capable. And then there's times when I do cook, and then there's food there.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay.
And that's, I just want to say too, those, I'm sure you're familiar, Esme, but for anyone who's not, the vibrational scale of emotions, right? With joy and love being at the top,
Yes.
like guilt and shame, they're like
lowest.
Not the very bottom, like there's maybe one below them, right?
And yeah, shame is the lowest.
Yeah. And when I realized how much I was holding myself in that lower place, I mean, I felt even more guilty, but then, I did whatever it took to release that, because that is not where I want to be playing.
Yes. So let's set the intention, Miriam, and anybody else. We're just going to release that. And I know we're going to do an EFT tapping demo. So I don't know if you're ready to do that now. Okay, so now I'm going to mute myself, and so.
Oh no, actually, Esme, I don't want you to mute yourself. I want you're gonna, because we do a call and response. So I'm going to have you be my responder. All right.
Okay, and so and guide everybody else. How do they set up, or what do you want them to do?
I'm going to talk about it just briefly. So EFT, as I said, we're going to go through acupressure points. And if you've never experienced it, you will, might seem a little bit weird, but it is a super powerful modality. And so we are going to go through, and I ask all of you right now to join us. But what we're going to do to start is maybe place your hands on your heart, sit nice and tall wherever you're sitting, and close your eyes for a moment and just turn your attention to your breath. And don't try and change it or lengthen it. Just notice what is. And I invite you, as you tune into your breath, to put a number on the depth of your breath. So from 0 to 10, to take a moment and put a number. It shouldn't take a lot of thought. 10 is the deepest, best, most expansive breath you can imagine. And 0 is, a lot of trouble. So somewhere in there, I invite you to just notice whatever your number is. All right. And then opening your eyes and coming back. So maybe those of you watching us want to just put your number in the comments. And Esme, what number did you get?
At first I got 3, but then I heard 4, so kind of low.
All right. So it's really powerful just to notice. And so we're just going to work on expanding the breath a little bit. This is a really beautiful opportunity to just see how tapping works. Beautiful. So I see some numbers coming in. That's awesome. So we're going to tap along now, and I invite you all to join in. All right, so we're going to start on the outside of the hand, on the karate chop point of the hand. Doesn't matter which hand. So you're just gently tapping there on the hand. So not on the wrist, Esme, right on the hand.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold mine up. You can just hold yours wherever you're comfortable. I'm just holding mine so you can see what we're doing. So as we tap here, I'm going to say something and then I'm going to let you repeat it. All right.
And so you want everybody else to repeat it when I'm saying it too? Okay, great.
That's right. Okay, so here we go. So even though I notice this constricted breath,
even though I notice this constricted breath,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I notice this constricted breath,
even though I notice this constricted breath,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Is that feeling like truth? Is that okay for you, Esme?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Even though I notice this constricted breath,
even though I notice this constricted breath,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Beautiful. So we're going to move to right in between the eyes, just right at the brow there. Perfect. So just above the nose, this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Move to the outside of the eyes, right on the bone at the edge of the eye. This constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Underneath the eye, again, right on the bone. This constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Underneath the nose, this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
On the crease of the chin, just below your lip, this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Down to the chest, just below the collarbone in the soft spot on either side, this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
And then one more point underneath the arm, sort of nipple line, but at the side, this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Shake that off and tune your attention back to your breath. Notice what is and share what number you're at now.
Yeah, I went to a 6. So I think from a 3 to a 6.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And how did everybody else do? Did you notice a change?
In the comments, let us know, guys. Amazing.
Yeah, we'll do another round. Same thing, just to see if we can expand it even more. Beautiful.
Wow.
Nice.
Sion went from 6 to 9. Nana from 5 to 8. Martha, yours went from 6 to what? To 8. Okay, good.
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you.
Nice. And so, we chose constricted breathing because all of us generally are not taking those full deep breaths on a regular basis, right? Unless you're in a yoga class or doing some specific breath work. And it's just this amazing example of how quickly we can shift things with EFT, right? With the tapping. That was just one round of tapping, 5 to 9. Beautiful. I love it.
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, I have a deviated septum and then my sinuses are swollen. I have the nodes inside are swollen. So in general, like my ENT one time, he was like, how do you breathe? So I struggle, or I if I practice breathing exercises, like it can be a little bit harder for me, but it also does help me.
Yeah. Beautiful. So let's do one more round.
Yes.
Just again, we know where we are and we'll just see if we can increase it anymore. We're not going to do the setup again because we're working on the same thing and we've already started to move the energy. So we're just going to come in between the eyes. This constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Outside of the eyes. This constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Underneath the eye, right on the bone there. this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
Underneath the nose, this constricted breath.
This constricted breath.
On the chin, this breath.
This breath.
Down to the chest. I'm curious about this breath.
I'm curious about this breath.
Underneath the arm, this breath.
This breath.
So bringing your hands back to your heart, tuning in to the breath again, and noticing if anything else has changed, if you've increased capacity anymore.
Wow.
How does that feel for you, Esme?
Well, I feel like I have an oxygen mask on. Like I feel like cool air coming in. It's basically a 10 is what I'm getting.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Wow.
It's incredible, right?
Amazing. Wow. How did you guys do? So I went from 3 to 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm curious how everybody is doing. This feels so good. Yeah, it feels like cooler air. So it's like air that I haven't experienced, like almost like having an oxygen mask on.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, I went to 10 also, Nicola. Thank you for sharing. Nana, almost 10. So yeah, I think everybody went higher.
Yeah.
Scion 10 as well. Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, so that was a little demonstration of how tapping works. And of course, when we're working on a specific issue, we worked on increasing the breath capacity, but you can use it for so many things, right? And I use it every single day to increase my mindset, to release any negativity, to if I'm feeling nervous about something, if I have a something that I don't want to do, I use it for everything. So
love it. One of my friends here, Martha, I think she also does tapping, and she told me that when she was learning it and studying it, she would do so people were able to face their fears, and she would tap them. And they were doing a scientific study, I believe, if I'm not wrong. So they were actually somewhere where they were in a high place, let's say, so facing their fear. And then after the tapping exercise, after a few times, that person wasn't afraid of being up there in that high place. Amazing.
It is. And this is why I got into it, because there are a lot of healing modalities out there. And in my life, I've done a lot of talk therapy, and talking is valuable and important. But when you're coming from trauma, it can be re-traumatizing. And talking does not rewire the brain. It just doesn't. And over the past 5-10 years, if you've seen the research in, the psychology in general as a field is shifting to more somatic based experiences. And I really believe to actually change the programs, we need that somatic body based as well as emotion, like the mental. You just can't think your way out of a traumatic scenario. It just doesn't work that way.
Exactly. And I was just watching, I do a lot of I watch a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza videos and meditations, and he makes it very clear. He says, and that's what his programs and even his free meditations on YouTube, it's, he's like, we want to get the emotional rewired, but we want the body, right? The biology, the body, the nervous system to buy into it, to agree with this new energy, right? So it's not just energy healing. We also want to include the body and the mind and the spirit. So that's where the whole shebang comes through.
Yeah. And
wow.
This this is something, very often when I'm working with clients, there's something going on in their body, and we open up this conversation through tapping where we can talk to the body part. And so often the body part is like, thank God, I've been trying to get your attention for 20 years. Like,
Yes.
you're finally listening to me. It is. And sometimes people feel really silly, right? Like, this is really weird. But it creates such a dramatic shift in their life experience.
Oh, I love this. Yes. And before we forget, we can talk a little bit more, but before I forget, tell us how, if somebody wants to learn more from you or maybe do work with you. I know you said that you have a group that, I don't know if it's starting. Tell us a little bit about that if anybody's interested.
Yeah, I have just launched a group. It's new to me. It's Empaths in Business. So this is a Facebook group, and you're welcome to join that. I also have my Anita Kaiser Wellness Facebook page, and I post and do lives on there regularly just to help support entrepreneurs and with boundaries, and just in general the connecting and accepting the emotions. This is the thing, right? The biggest thing with boundaries, just like I said, acknowledging what is. And that means all the emotions, even the ones we were told were bad. And they're not bad, right? They're just emotions.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that. And also your website is AnitaKaiserWellness.com.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So they can find everything about you there. And yeah, people are saying that they love this. Martha, she did use EFT a lot. The one that did the exercise I told you about, but she hadn't done it for breathing before. So thanks for this. Wow. Yeah. Some people have tried it. Nicola wrote, I use tapping on YouTube with Brad. This help with grief. That's wonderful. People were loving it from earlier comments. Sorry. Yeah, people, yeah, some people also felt like fresh air coming in. Beautiful. So I'm going, that was earlier. Let me see. And yay, Nana said, I learned something new and I love that. Thank you. I'm so glad.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah. And if Nicola wrote, I've been sabotaged by narcissists in business. I learned boundaries fast. Very good. That's a wonderful. Yeah. Sometimes we have, we learn by experience, and it's okay because most of us do learn by experience. So we can always be grateful for the experience later in hindsight, even if it was something painful. And I wanted to, I lost my train of thought. So boundaries. Wow, I think we shared a lot of great info, and empaths that are in business. I think, like you said, keep setting the boundaries. Do a schedule. What were your other tips? I'm trying to recap.
I think there were a lot of things that we said, and I just get off and start going. So
yeah, I should have written down. Sorry.
I think that the biggest thing is, if you're struggling with boundaries, if you're struggling to say no, if you're struggling to create time for yourself, just notice where your resistance is as a starting place. Notice the words you're using for yourself. Notice what's getting in the way. If it's a business thing, notice, I feel like I have to be on all the time. Just notice those things to start. And then you can get deeper and deeper into them and begin to shift it.
Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful way to summarize it. And I guess it's in other words, it can also be that, you do have the power of choice, right? So that as a person, that gets us out of the victim mentality and into a higher frequency where we're taking responsibility for ourselves. Even even when we didn't do anything wrong, right? Like as an empath,
Sure.
so the responsibility could be, well, I allowed this person in my life, or whether if it was work, related or personal or however, somehow this person is in my life for a reason, whether I allowed it or not. Sometimes you have coworkers that you can't help, but for whatever reason, I'm here to learn a lesson. And setting boundaries is so important. And I love this demo from tapping. Somebody's asking, how often should you tap?
So I tap every day. You can tap. I tap anytime I feel energy coming up and I want to help it move. Anytime. And I just go through the points, and I don't always use words. It's just a matter of helping things move. Anytime I feel like I'm getting dysregulated, or, I've been jarred. Sometimes it's even like watching TV. And at my house, my family, they can tolerate way more graphic things than I can. And so if I'm watching that and I can feel happening in my body, I just start to tap, because let's just move it through.
That's wonderful. Wow. And so I think for me, it was hard to say no. And so if I may add, just little no's, like saying no to an invitation, or not accepting, a phone call, maybe because don't feel obligated.
Yeah.
Like you have to. I think when we feel that we have to, um, so you don't have to necessarily say no, but you can say no by maybe not accepting that phone call right then, or not going to all of the events and parties that you are invited to, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
That's a good way to start practicing. It's a new habit that we can start practicing.
And I think this is really powerful. It's something I do with all my clients, right? The inspired action going forward, but not like New Year's resolutions where, we make them so big and we don't have the energetic capacity to actually follow through. Make it something that you can imagine actually doing, and then do it. Set yourself up for success, right? I'm going to, say no to that coffee date after, the board meeting or whatever, because I just don't want it. Something low risk, and you start there, and then your body starts to learn, I can say no. Look, I did it.
Right.
Right. As opposed to, oh, I'm never going to be able to, or, whatever the song and dance that so many of us have. Right.
Beautiful. Yeah, it starts building that muscle that we don't know how to use. And then on the other side, we notice what we're saying yes to, the choices. So when we are going to do things, like when I'm making my tea, I'm making it, and then I can say, as practice, I choose to have, I don't know, green tea today as I'm making it. And that's wiring the brain, right? Because I do want to. So I'm emphasizing that power of the yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know I can talk for another hour, Anita. Thank you so much. And before we go, give me a second. I want to take a minute. So, a reminder, please do visit Anita's social media sites. Her Facebook page is Anita Kaiser Wellness, and her website is AnitaKaiserWellness.com. And check out her website and contact her if you want any to go any further and learn about tapping. And then in that spirit, let me show my little banner. Whoop, whoop. I have just give me a second to just let you know or remind you, if you haven't watched before, I do have a free energy healing group. And it's actually energy clearings that we do. I offer this weekly. And so if you're interested in learning or experiencing energy healings, energy clearings, I do them on Sundays and at 4 p.m. Central. And so, yeah, just in Facebook, just search Inner Healing Amigos. Ooh, ooh. I like amigos because you know what? It's nothing serious going on. Even when we're healing, if we're in the spirit of fun, crap just releases faster,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the same with tapping. You know, like I love that last phrase that you said. I forgot, but it just made me smile. I saw you smile. Like I love the way breathing makes me feel, or I think you said, or something that I love, and it's a beautiful way to cement that fun feeling. Oh, Anita, thank you so much. I know everybody's has enjoyed this, and thank you everybody for being here live.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Oh, and I hope to keep learning from you. I'm going to check out your group. I appreciate you. So with that being said, thank you so much, guys. This was episode 13. I can't believe it, of Soul Talks with Esme. Today we talk with Anita Kaiser, who I'm very grateful for. So if you watch on the replay, let us know in the comments that you're watching the replay, and we'll if you have any questions, let us know, tag us, and appreciate you. Thank you, everybody that was here live. See you next week.